live streaming.
Are we ready?
Yes, so. Does me to come down, Marcia?
Yeah. Are we ready?
Are you
Ready.
Okay. All right. With that, it is 7 o'clock and we will call the July 23rd, 2020 PARTA Board of Trustees meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. And so I will go down through the list, call your name. If you tell me, repeat your name and tell me where your appointing authority, please. So we'll start with Marvin.
Marvin Woods, and I'm appointed from Streetsboro.
Richard.
Richard Brockett, Northern Portage County.
Dave.
David Ginn, Middle Portage County.
Michael.
Michael Lewis, Ravenna Township.
Karen.
Karen Wise, City of Ravenna.
Debbie.
Debbie Davison, City of Ravenna.
Jeff.
Jeff Childers, Southern Portage County.
Frank.
Frank Vitale, Aurora, Ohio.
Marge.
Marge Biergard, Aurora, Ohio.
Okay, and then we'll do Bill.
Bill Nome, PARTA Legal Counsel.
All righty, and then we'll do management. And if it's all right, I'm going to start with Kelly because she's on a separate screen.
Kelly Jurish, PARTA.
Okay, and the rest of you then, if you want to.
Claudia Amrine, PARTA.
Marcia Fletcher, PARTA.
Ryan Troutman, PARTA.
Miss Baba, PARTA.
Clayton Popick, PARTA.
Rebecca Schrader, PARTA.
Very good. Welcome one and all. We have the meeting minutes have been distributed for the June 25th, 2020 meeting. Would entertain a motion to accept.
So made.
I like them.
Okay. So we have two that spoke up. So Marcia, if you would grab one as first and one as the second.
Will do.
Okay. Any discussion of the minutes as presented? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The general manager's report was distributed. Are any questions or comments?
I have a couple.
Do you want to do any explanation?
Thank you.
I have a couple.
Go ahead, Richard.
About the legal counsel, I'd like a little more explanation about that. And specifically, will this up or reduce costs some way?
I would think that it would reduce costs. That's kind of part of the plan. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Or
There is no specific law firm that's going to be responsible for us.
In the minutes, Claudia said that they've put out a request for people, law firms to respond. And I don't know when the deadline is on that, Claudia.
Tomorrow.
Okay. So we'll make a decision from there.
Okay, I just must have read it in wrong.
Okay. Anything else in your report, Claudia, that you want to highlight?
I just wanted to welcome Mr. Woods to our board. Dave and I met with Marvin and Rick remotely a couple of Fridays ago and had a great orientation session. Marvin, I don't think you got a chance to meet all of our staff, so I just wanted to take a minute to introduce you. I know you met Marcia.
Yes.
Kelly is Chief of Staff, and she oversees administration. And Rebecca is our Director of Finance. She oversees all of the financials. Clayton Popick is our Director of Planning, and so he oversees service planning. Denise Baba is our communications advisor, and she supports me in a lot of ways with our media and messaging. And Brian Troutman is our Chief Operating Officer. He oversees all of the transit and maintenance and parking operations daily. So welcome, and we really appreciate your joining our board. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you, and I appreciate being part of the board.
I just want to make a comment. If put your thing on speaker view, you'll be able to see all them a lot better, like your Zoom. You'll be able to see the whole thing will be that room. Just to help you out, Marvin, you can see it a little better.
Where at?
Up in the right corner, if you hit speaker view, instead of like the galley with all the squares, just put it to the other one.
Okay.
And then when they talk, it'll make
And when
that,
they talk, you can see it. So if maybe Claudia wants to speak, then he can see everybody in the room.
Okay.
Because it's really hard the other way.
There's still people on speaker on muted too.
okay. Would like to draw attention to the fact that Morgan Tipton has joined the group. Hi, Morgan. Claudia, is there anything else from your you want to highlight?
No, the only other thing that occurred after this report was ready to go out is that Brian Gray did call us and resign from his position. So we have another vacancy to fill, and hope that the city of Kent will be able to do that at their next meeting.
Actually, hopefully the timing is such they'll be able to do both appointments at the same time.
Right.
Very good. Yeah, I spoke to him a couple times, and he has taken a job up in Streetsboro. It was part-time and it's now full-time, and he's having a very hard time making the meeting. So he did have to, because of the job commitment. You know, he effectively retired from Kent State and then went on to do this other part-time job. So just did not have the time to be on the board. Okay, any other questions for Claudia? If not, then we go on to committee reports. Karen, you want to give your report?
Yeah, it'll be brief. The administration committee met this evening. Mr. Brockett and I are the committee members. Our new board member, Marvin Woods, sat in as an alternate. We had basically two orders of business. One was the consideration of nominations for board officers, which you see later in our agenda tonight. So we have a slate of officers that we recommended to the board, and that's Dave Ginn as president, Mike Lewis as vice president, and myself, Karen Wise, as the temporary presiding officer. So we made that motion to the board for consideration. And then we went over two resolutions, 0701 and 0702. And both of those were recommended to go to the board for approval.
Very good. And just so everybody knows, nominations stay open until the end of the meeting when we actually do the election. So if somebody wants to make a nomination, they can. Any questions for Karen? Seeing none, we will move on to finance. Michael?
Good evening. Finance met Tuesday. The reports were attached. I'm going to go through some summary items, and then, as I always do, Rebecca, if I need anything added, please jump in. On overall budget, against budget, we were about 52,000 to the bad side, or to the other side, I should say. Most of that was due to reduction in KSU revenues. We also had about 73,000 that was a capital maintenance that actually was recognized in the books a couple months earlier. So just for budget, it threw that off a little bit. Expense-wise, we're pretty much on target. The only thing that had a little more expense than normal is materials and supplies. Most of that was for COVID-related expenses. But overall, for the year, still in really good shape. Just the budget's getting a little tested with all the different things we're going through right now. Capital report, we had two expenditures. We had a tractor for a little bit over 37,000 and some invoices for the bus storage facility, a little bit above 565,000. So there was some movement on capital due to invoices and a purchase. The only other thing that came up on the net position report is there was 75,000 that went from part of the Kent Gateway. A little bit around 34,000 was a reimbursement for some earlier activity in the year. 35,000 will be paid back at a later date when the Kent Gateway is in a little better situation and has her feet underneath them with everything going on, which leads to the Kent Gateway. We are seeing some maybe stabilization, at least we're hoping. Against budget, we were 21,000 to the negative, which brought the year-to-date actual about 65,000 to the negative. I asked, hoping that we can see this turnaround soon, and it's kind of unknown because we just don't know what's going to go on. We have seen some additions, a little bit more activity in the deck with the hotel that has some or had some events, has another one coming up. However, we think it's going to be a slow movement back to normal with the Kent Gateway. So those are the main things. I'm open to any questions anybody might have.
Go
I
ahead.
have a question. I was looking through the minutes from the last month, and I didn't see anything in the notes. I might have missed something, but has the new rent relationship between the health department taken place? Because I know that there was a probable move-in over July. Will that help kind of bump up the Gateway's revenue?
It will. It will. They have not moved in yet. We are still working out some matters, getting the IT set up, getting some electrical upgrades made in the room so that they can have IT. Brian's working with the health department. So we're doing everything we can to help them get in the next few weeks before school starts.
Sure. Yeah, those fall immunizations are going to get here before you know it.
Yeah. So they're starting. I don't know if they've started to move some file cabinets in, but we're working as best we can to get them in. It's just been a number of delays due to the COVID. So
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Michael. Thank you for the committee for all you do. None of the other committees met. Nothing under old business, anything under new business anybody wants to bring up? And if not, we'll go on to the resolutions. So we start with resolution 2701, resolution by the PARTA Board of Trustees confirming PARTA's compliance with the General Assembly's legislation modifying the Open Meetings Act as part of the COVID-19 response. Claudia, do you want to expound on that at all?
Sure. We wanted to provide a link between our bylaws and the modified open meetings regulations during COVID. Because they are a temporary modification, we don't want to change our bylaws, but rather have a record that shows that the way we're conducting our meetings now is consistent with the modifications made by the General Assembly. It also provides the foundation if we do want to issue any procedures to make the meetings run a little more smoothly, we would reference this resolution as the basis for that.
Any questions for Claudia? No. All right. Would entertain a motion for the resolution?
I'll move.
Thank you, Dave. How about a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Marge, thank you. No other discussion. Marcia, it's yours.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
Davison,
Yes.
Ms. Wise,
Yes.
Ms. Tipton,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Again,
Yes.
Rocket,
Yes.
Mr. Childers,
Yes.
Mr. Vitale,
Yes.
Biergard,
Yes.
Mr. Bisler.
Yes. All right. And then resolution 2020-0702, a resolution by the PARTA Board of Trustees honoring Jerry Mulvey, board member, in appreciation for his dedication and service. Entertain a motion.
So
I
made.
will.
Okay, thank you. And a second?
Second.
All right. You all set, Marcia?
Childers,
Before you do the vote, I'd just like to make sure that everybody understands, we really appreciate Jeremy's time. His mom was a member of the board for many years before Jeremy came on, with, I believe, 6 years ago. So we thank him for his commitment and the time he gave to the board. All right, Marcia.
Childers,
Yes.
Mr. Vitale,
Yes.
Wise,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Brockett,
Yes.
Ms. Tipton,
Yes.
Mr. Ginn,
Yes.
Ms. Biergard,
Yes.
Davison,
Yes.
Mr. Bisler.
Yes. All right. And that moves us on to, there is no need for an executive session. It does move us on to the election of officers. We have the slate that was submitted to us this evening by the administration committee. Anybody else want to make a nomination or nominate themselves? These are sought after positions, folks. Okay. Seeing none. It is consistent with the resolution 2020-0701 that we just passed. We are now doing the election virtually. There is a disconnect today between our normal bylaws, which is a ballot vote. Doing it here, virtual has to be now a roll call, actually, yes or no vote. So are there any question or concerns about us doing that? Okay, if not, it is consistent with a resolution that we would do a single vote for the slate because there are no contested spots. It is all right with everybody that we do a single vote. I would entertain a motion that we do that.
So made, Rick.
Thank you, Michael. A second.
Can second that.
Thank you, Morgan. Any questions? If not, all those in favor of doing a single vote for the slate, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Any opposed? If not, would entertain a motion that we accept the slate.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Debbie. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Marvin. Any discussion? If not, Marcia, we'll let you do that roll call.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Childers,
Yes.
Wise,
Yes.
Ms. Davison,
Yes.
Biergard,
Yes.
Ms. Tipton,
Yes.
Mr. Ginn,
Yes.
Mr. Vitale,
Yes.
Mr. Brockett,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that the new officers effectively take position as soon as the meeting is over tonight. So Dave, the meeting is yours to run next month. I want to thank everybody on the board for the privilege of leading this group and being part of the group for the last 17 years. It's been a fun ride. I don't know. I may be here at next month's meeting. It depends upon when the city of Kent actually replaces me. So if I see you next month, yay. If I don't, it has been an honor and a privilege. Thank you very much.
You.
Thank you, Rick.
Rick, the city's not going to be able to replace you. They're just going to send somebody else. Just to let you know.
Well, they'll actually get somebody in. They'll do it. I thank you all very much. Is there anything, Kelly, from the Peanut Gallery we need to know?
Tonight, thank you, though.
Okay. That's been fun to make sure that you do that. All right. Seeing as that there's no other information to pass along, again, thank you all very much. Would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll do that.
Thank you, Marge. And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Martin. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of adjourning the meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? All right. Have a safe drive home, everybody. It's been fun seeing you. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, all. Stay safe.